Welcome to Rentec Direct's Cash Payment webinar. We're excited to release this high demand feature for our Pro and PM clients. So thank you so much. You asked and your development team has listened. With PayNearMe, which is one of the largest cash payment processors, you can now accept automated cash payments from tenants without all the hassle of traditional cold hard cash. My name is Janelle, and I'm part of the team here at Rentec Direct. And Kevin from your client success team has joined us today. He's behind the scenes though, but he's going to help answer any questions that come up. And in case I don't cover your burning question that you have about cash payments, you can always just reach out to your client success team by phone or email after this webinar concludes. And before we get rolling, notice the poll in the upper right corner of your webinar tool. I sent you a poll to your screen, and I'm hoping you'll answer that. You'll be able to see how your peers answer and if they are similar to your renter profile. So I think it's a fun way for us to learn a little bit more about each other. So go ahead and click on that poll now and shoot me your answers if you would, please. Traditionally, cash rent payments have been risky, and cash cannot be traced like checks. I'm sure you know that. But also money orders, ACH, credit cards, those are a little more tried and true. But accepting cash in your office, it presents a handful of problems and risks, from coordinating the delivery of the cash to lost money and sometimes even stolen funds. So then you have to post the payment in your Rentec account, and you have to drive to the bank to deposit the cash. Most property managers and landlords we found have gotten away from dealing with cash payments just for the reasons I've mentioned. But there still remains a large population of tenants that do not have bank accounts or simply do business in cash. And they are left having to purchase money orders or cashier's checks. And depending on, their monthly rental rate, they could be paying up to $10 in fees to exchange their cash to cashier's checks or money orders. And then they have to mail or hand deliver that to you, and still you have to go to the bank. There's also been a rise in money order fraud as well as that. So it's just not an easy situation to deal with. Overall, cash payments are annoying. Until now. Now your tenants can go to one of thousands of convenient payment kiosks. They're located across the country, and they can quickly send you cash electronically. And tenants can make payments either with a paper payment voucher or a scannable barcode that will be on their cell phone. So both you and your tenant are going to be able to see their payment recorded in their Rentec Direct account ledger within minutes of the payment. Once the payment is made, the funds are guaranteed. So no more hassle. So let me point out a few highlights you're going to want to know about the integration process for getting your Rentec Direct account synced in with PayNearMe tools. So first, you'll need to submit an application through your Rentec Direct setting page. The application process is simple, and we've outlined all the information you'll need right on the setup page. So basically, have your company and bank account information handy. And once you've submitted your application, the turnaround time for enabling the cash payments features in your account is about 1 to 2 weeks, just depending on, the volume of applications that PayNearMe is processing. And this feature is geared towards landlords and property managers with at least 50 rentals that anticipate having a minimum of 10 cash transactions per month. And don't worry, you'll have about 90 days to get this new program revved up to having at least 10 transactions a month. And the transaction fee is $3.99, whether your tenant is paying you $300 or $1,500. The fee is paid by your tenant at the payment terminal. When the payment is recorded in your Rentec Direct tenant ledger, you'll see the payment amount only, meaning their rent amount, and not have to worry about accounting for that transaction fee. And PayNearMe's one-time setup fee of $200 to sync all these pieces together will be billed to your payment method on file in your Rentec account. Once your account's been enabled, you're going to be emailed instructions so you're confident on how to use your new tools. Let's see how all this looks in a real account. There we go. So I'm going to go over to the application process so we can talk about that. One of the big takeaways on the application process I want to stress is that if you leave out any information or if it is inconsistent, your application could get declined and we want it to be accepted. So it's pretty straightforward, but there are a few pieces I want to point out. So first, to apply for cash payments, head on over to your settings tab. And in settings, scroll down towards the bottom and you'll see the option of cash payments. And when you first click on this page, you'll be presented with that screen I displayed just a few moments ago that highlighted out all the important details you're going to need for the application so you can gather them in advance. But if you need to step away from your desk, your Rentec account will store the data that you already entered. So it's going to make it easy to pick up where you left off. And that's exactly what you're seeing here on this screen as I started this application earlier this morning. So I want to show you what I have here. When you first click on this page, I'm going to show you the registration page. Most of this is pretty straightforward, but I want to point out one field at the top where it says friendly name. And you might ask yourself, what is that? It's simply what you do business as, like a DBA, or what your tenants know your business to be. So just wanted to mention that piece there. And the next page is listing out owner details. And it's pretty clear here. Just list out the details for the owner of your company, whether it's an LLC or whatever your entity is. When you're providing information on your bank account that you want to use for cash payments, the first field you see here, you're going to want to link in the bank account that you have in your Rentec account that you want your payments to post to. And then the account name field, that wants you to list the bank account name as it's registered with your bank or what you see on your bank statement. So depending on what you've called that at your bank, just make sure you list that in there. You'll also have the option of uploading a copy of your current bank statement or a letter from your bank verifying your bank account. So that's a requirement, and you get to choose which one you're providing. If you're submitting a bank statement, down here where it says bank contact name, you can list NA, but if you're submitting a letter, indicate who the contact is that's signing that letter. And when you're ready to head on over to upload your documents, it's going to show you what you need to provide, and just be sure to provide what they're asking for, or your application could be delayed or denied, and you'd have to resubmit that. If we click over to the sign agreement page, I just want to point out a couple things here on this page. There are 3 scroll bars. There's one on the right side that's for your web page here, and then there's this one here that scrolls through the page that you need to sign, and then also this scroll bar here that lets you read the disclosure there. So just make sure that you sign that page. That's all there really is to the application. And remember, it takes 1 to 2 weeks for all this magic to be integrated into your account. And we're going to keep you up to date on the process, so no worries there. I'm going to log into another account that's already enabled with cash payments, so we can explore the ins and out of this cool tool. So let me get into another account that's already activated. And here I'm on the tenant page, so we can see how to set up a tenant to use cash payments. So let's activate the tenant, Janelle Smith. And what we're going to do is go over to the tenant menu, and we're going to select online payments. And if we scroll down to the very bottom of this page, you'll see the option where it says enable cash payments. And once you enter all the details here and you click the blue button that says enable cash payments, your tenants are going to be notified via email. So let me go ahead and show you what that communication is going to look like. All right, so this is a sample email your tenant will receive once you've activated them for cash payments in your Rentec account. And where you see Rentec Direct here, where it says Pay Rentec Direct, just know this will have your company name listed instead. This screenshot was taken from our test account, so that's why it does say Pay Rentec Direct. And if your tenants follow the blue button in this email right here, they're going to be taken to a web page that looks similar to this. And here they can find a payment location, and they can choose to either print out a voucher with instructions, or they can have instructions with a payment barcode sent to their phone. The printed instructions for the tenant and the retailer, they include that $3.99 fee, and the barcodes are listed here for all the different retailers that support the PayNearMe program. So all your tenant needs to do is to give this voucher to the store attendant and let them know they want to initiate a cash payment. Keep in mind that the retailers that work with PayNearMe may change in the future, but this is a current payslip example. So I just wanted to show that to you so you have an idea of what it looks like here. If receiving an email, isn't an option for your tenant, just so you know, you can generate these printed instructions for your tenant right from your Rentec account. And I'm going to show you how to do that shortly. So I wanted to mention, if your tenant selected to send instructions to their phone, they are going to receive a text message. And after the email is sent, you can also generate instructions via text message for those tenants that say, but I never received an email, or I lost the instructions. So don't worry if that happens. Here's a sample of what your tenant will receive when the instructions are sent to their phone, either when they click on that link in their email or when you send the links to them through their account. So I'll show you how to do this also in just a moment. Once they follow the link in that text message, they're going to be taken to a PayNearMe interface. And here they can choose, as you see, English or Spanish instructions. And if they have made a payment in the past, like you see here, they're going to see that information displayed. And if they follow that Make a Payment button, they can choose their payment location, and a barcode is going to appear on their screen. And this is the barcode that they are going to use when they are at the PayNearMe location. So they'll even be able to get directions to the retailer closest to them, and they can also access the help screen here. So it's very user-friendly for your tenants. And once they have made a payment, these funds are guaranteed. And under your financial reports tab, if you head into your account, you're going to now notice a report that's called cash payments. And this report is going to assist you in reconciling who has paid via the cash payment network. For our test run, some of the Rentec team, they went over to a payment location here in Grants Pass. It's next to the Rentec Direct office, and they loaded up on giant Slurpees and they submitted their payments through the payment terminal, just to make sure this feature was tested, and also to be sure, we understood what it's like to be a tenant using a payment terminal. And they reported back to us that it was just easy peasy. And for the record, after a couple trial runs, Shay, Warren, Brittany, Jeremy, they were just loaded up on sugar. It was like Disneyland around here. But let's log into that test account where we ran those test transactions, and we're going to look at a few more details. So let me pull that back up for you here. All right. So under the tenant tab, let's go back there. We're going to look at Warren Smith. There he is. And if I open up his ledger by clicking on the balance, I'm going to see here that he submitted a cash payment to me on July 1st. All right. And if I click on the edit button here, I just wanted to show you that it has a transaction ID number here, and this is associated with that transaction. And if I want to manage his cash payment options, I'll click back on the tenant tab. I'll go into the tenant menu, head on down here to online payments. And if I scroll to the very bottom, I can, easily disable his cash payments if for some reason I don't want to provide him that option anymore. Maybe he's moving out, or, whatever reason, you can disable it. And then I can also view that pay slip that I showed you here before, that you can print out and give to your tenant. And then I can also retext that pay slip to the tenant. I want you to check out this link here, and you're going to be able to see some current locations near your tenants or you where they're going to be able to submit cash payment. So, and it's pretty easy to get set up and use the cash payment features in your Rentec Direct account. And I am excited for all our clients to take advantage of the cash payments integration. We do have a couple questions that have come in during our webinar, and I wanted to share a few of them with you because I think they're really good questions. So the first question is, what if I don't have 10 transactions a month? What is going to happen? And that's a great question. And the answer is, you will be billed $3.99, that transaction fee, multiplied by the number of missing transactions. So for example, you have 8 tenants paid by cash your first month, and it's less than that minimum of 10. So anticipate you will be billed $7.98 in lieu of those 2 transactions. So it's not a big deal if you miss the mark, here and there, right? Another question that came up is, what if I have less than 50 rentals and I want to use this feature? And, I imagine this question would come up as I was preparing for this webinar. And just give your support team a call and chat with them, as there may be an exception that can be made. I'm just not really sure. This is all new to our team as well. And the reason the criteria 50 rentals was set is that we want to just be sure you're going to have enough volume of cash payers to, justify the service and, the integration and the fee to make that happen. So if you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out to your client success team. They are here for you by phone or email. And I just want to thank you so much for joining us today. I'd love to have you join Catherine and me in 2 weeks for our July coffee break, which is just a casual meetup with you, our clients, where we can talk shop about a general topic. And this month's topic is for our property managers who work with property owners. And we want to hear all your questions and comments on property owners. The idea is that, we can learn from each other, when we share our questions and our perspective. And it looks like in August, we're going to delve into your reporting tools. So we'll talk everything about reports, any questions you have about those. So your client success team is happy to answer your questions Monday through Friday. If it's a busy time of day and you've reached voicemail, don't hesitate to leave a message, as we always get back to clients in the same business day. So wishing you a beautiful day, and I hope to see you soon.